So our goals for today. I am going to do a little bit of a review. If you have done the Intro to DBT webinar with me, I am going to do a very fast review of the biosocial theory because I will be referring back to that and the highly sensitive person. So it is important that you have a basic understanding of that. And then we're going to get into skills. So the role of mindfulness, I'll touch briefly on. That's a whole other 3-hour webinar that I do, mindfulness to help with emotion regulation. But here are some of the skills we're going to get into. We're going to talk broadly about the importance of naming and validating emotions, and then some specific skills, opposite to emotion action. Non-judgmental stance, which is actually, if you've done core mindfulness with me, this is a core mindfulness skill, but I do a brief review of this one as well, because in my mind, I can't talk about regulating emotions without talking about judgments. And then we'll talk about accumulating positives and coping. There's a specific skill that we teach in DBT called mindfulness of current emotion. And this is where we have the individual practice being mindful to the experience of the emotion itself. So part of the reason we do this is that often when someone's experiencing pain in the present, they tend to focus not just on the pain of the present, but on the pain of the past and on the pain of the future. So I had a gentleman that I was assessing for a group, I think last year I met with him, a 60-year-old man, and he was severely depressed and started, now of course this was an assessment, so it makes sense he'd be talking about this, but this was often something that he would do outside of therapy. Oh my gosh, this has gone on for so long. I've been depressed since I was a child. So here's focus on pain of the past. And then he would go into, okay, reducing vulnerability to emotion mind. We want, so emotion mind is a core mindfulness skill, by the way, if you're not familiar with that term. But essentially, this is around helping people to reduce the likelihood that emotions are going to take over and control, right? So there's a few ways we do this. First of all, we want to increase the pleasurable emotions that the individual's experiencing. And of course, there's lots of ways of doing this. We want to help them work on building positive experiences to increase pleasurable emotions. So in the short term, ideally, we want people doing some kind of positive experience on a daily basis. Might be very small. It might be, watching your favorite Netflix show. Could be cuddling with your dog or watching your fish in the tank or whatever. So those little daily events. But then also, of course, longer term, working towards goals that. Okay, last skill before I come to questions, guys. This is the skill of cope ahead. This is a skill that essentially is about imaginal rehearsal. So we want clients to use this when there's a situation that they're fearing, that they've got anxiety about. This might be a situation where they're feeling that their emotions are likely to get in the way of their ability to use skills effectively. It might be because the situation is new, or that might be because the skills are new, or they're just feeling uncertain of their skills. And that insecurity might elicit an emotional response that's going to make it difficult for them to act effectively in the situation. So the steps they follow to practice cope ahead. First off, they identify what the situation is and what the catastrophe is that they're envisioning. Okay, this is the important part. We really want them to kind of peel back the layers, and we want to try and help them figure out what is the